We are in week 2 of the NFL season, and bettors are getting ready for action for the games on Sunday as well as Monday Night Football. So let's break down the best bets on another edition of Hitting the Books. And joining me on this edition is the sports betting analyst, also host of Locked On Yankees podcast, my guy Brian McKeon joins me now. Brian, what's going on?
Dexter, pleasure to join you. Happy week 2.
Yeah, happy week 2. Week 1 hopefully was good to the bettors out there. We're trying to give you guys some winning picks. So, Brian, let's start with the local teams who both lost in week 1. First up, we've got the Giants. They're coming off a woeful, that's being nice, home opener against the Vikings. Now they head on the road to battle a division rival, the Commanders. They are also 0-1. So right now, the G-Men, they're 1.5-point underdogs. In terms of the total points for this one, the over-underline is at 41. What's your best bet for Giants versus Commanders?
You got to take these things at a grain of salt, right? Week 1, you don't want too many overreactions, and I feel like people people have a tendency to do that when it comes to week 1. So I love the New York Giants to win this game. You got to remember, coming into the season, the Giants had a lot more on their plate, a lot more confidence coming into the year than Washington necessarily had, with the new quarterback, new coach, the whole nine, right? Dan Quinn doesn't want to lose his job, doesn't want to have a bad season, and he knows that if Jaden Daniels gets hurt, that's likely where he's headed. So you just heard the comments earlier this week where Dan Quinn came out and said, we don't want Jaden Daniels running the ball too much. We don't want him moving around too much. We want him to learn how to be a pocket quarterback, which is fine, but allows the Giants to do a lot more and put a lot more pressure with their front seven, which is their strongest aspect. The Giants also came into the year with a lot of confidence, and they know they cannot afford to start off 0-2 against two teams they were supposed to beat. Do I love the Giants this year? No. Do I think they're a great team? No. But are they way more talented than Washington? Absolutely. Is Jaden Daniels a better quarterback right now than Daniel Jones? Absolutely. But look at the rest of the rosters. The Giants roster is so much better than Washington's roster. The Giants should beat Washington. They should be 1-1, and they should look to continue their season, which I don't know if it'll be a great season, but they always beat Washington.
They do have Washington's number. Giants, again, you're getting 1.5 points with the Giants there, so good move if you want to take them there. Now we move over to the Jets. Gangrene, they couldn't stop the run on Monday night against the Niners. They face an 0-1 Titans team in Nashville in week 2. Gangrene, right now, 3.5-point road favorites. Not a lot of points expected in this one, Brian, with the over-underline currently at 41. Are you backing the Jets to cover on the road in week 2, or is there another bet that you like here?
No, the Jets fan in me is so excited to bet the Jets at -3.5. If you can shop around and find a 3 out there, God bless. I don't know if you're going to find it, though. The Jets right now should absolutely beat down the Titans. And I know it's the Titans home opener, but even last week with the Titans, they go to Soldier Field, they get out to a 17-0 lead, and Caleb Williams doesn't really do much in the game at all, but has a comeback. The Titans just completely fell apart, and Will Levis looked horrible. People got to remember, the Jets on Monday night last week played last year's NFC champion, a team that's been cohesive and good together for the last half decade. You played a really good Niners team, and it was likely the Jets' first game together, right? It was Rodgers' first game essentially with the Jets. It was this whole Jets cohesive unit together for the first time ever. You're going to have hiccups. And did the Jets really look that bad against the 49ers? I didn't think so. Going into Tennessee, who's not supposed to be a great team, with that defense against Will Levis, it all lines up perfectly for the Jets to absolutely put a whooping on the Titans. And I think that's what happens. I think Jets are going to put up north of 30 points. I think the Titans are going to struggle to score like 13, 14 points, to be honest with you.
All right, so got the Jets covering there against the Titans. Lastly, let's take a look at, not lastly, but next to last, we'll take a look at the Sunday night game where Caleb Williams, who you just mentioned, makes his first primetime appearance as the Bears are visiting H-Town to battle the Texans. This is a battle of two teams who won in week 1. Houston, right now, 6.5-point favorite. If you like the Bears, you can find value hitting that money line, which is around plus 240. The over-under for this contest, 45.5 points. How are you betting this Sunday night matchup, Brian?
Yeah, so you got to look at it carefully, right? Because while Caleb had the successful comeback in week 1, he still didn't play that well. He still had a lot of missed passes, a lot of chances that he was taking that were rookie mistakes. And is he going to learn in 1 week? More than likely not. Houston's an awesome team, right? I mean, they're really good. They've added a lot of weapons. C.J. Stroud is clearly the real deal. And they played a tough game against Indianapolis last week. Won the game by 2 points, but Indianapolis played them really tough. Now you get a little bit of an easier spot. Home opener for Houston. Really tough spot for Caleb Williams. I love watching Caleb Williams play. I think he's a lot of fun, and I think their weapons are awesome, but you're going to get no Rome Odunze in this game, who's their second-best receiver. You're going to get no Keenan Allen in this game. That alone is tough enough. Going against C.J. Stroud, who's going to get his points in any game that he plays, I like Houston to cover the number if you get it under 7.
All right, if you get it under 7, where you would with that 6.5, you like Houston there to cover. Last thing for me, Brian, let's leave the people with a player prop. What's your best player prop that you like for the remaining Week 2 games that we have here?
Yeah, was anyone else confused at the fact that Marvin Harrison Jr. and the news that was going on with him of not getting enough balls thrown to him, and then Kyler Murray coming out and saying it's not my responsibility to get balls to him? It is, Kyler. It absolutely is, and I think Kyler's going to make it known this week that it is his responsibility. That Marvin Harrison Jr. is a top-tier talent in the entire league, so I think balls are going to be forced in his direction. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. over 4.5 receptions. They're going to force balls towards him. They're going to want to get him more involved, and they're going to want to get him involved early in the game. So I also like Harrison to have over 57.5 receiving yards. Not a lot. You're getting a discount because it's a rookie player in his second game in his career. But Kyler Murray's got experience. He's been in the league for a long time. He knows that you have to deal with egos and get balls out to guys and stuff like that, especially with wide receivers. I love all of Marvin Harrison Jr.'s over props this week. It's a great value bet for a guy who didn't have a great first week in the league, but has all the talent in the world and should really be able to have the ball forced to him, but also make an impact on the game.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do. He did struggle in Week 1, but he was seeing a lot of double teams, so that's why you're seeing some of these numbers that are low. I agree with you. Really good value there on Marvin Harrison Jr. We'll see how he performs in Week 2. That is Brian McKeon, sports betting analyst. Also catch him on the Locked On Yankees podcast. Does a great job there. Brian, good to talk some sports betting with you. We will do it again on another edition of Hitting the Books. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, Dexter. Looking forward to it.